lavish lifestyles of some of the world's infamous leaders. Multi-million-dollar mansions, super yachts, star-studded parties. In June, recording star Jennifer Lopez was paid an estimated $1.5 million by a Chinese oil firm to perform at the birthday celebration of Turkmenistan's president, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov, which she later apologized for. And Kazakhstan's president, Nursultan Nazarbayev, paid rapper Kanye West a reported $3 million to perform at his grandson's wedding in September. The British chronicler of style, Peter York, says the most flash of the class are the out-and-out dictators, like the late despot Saddam Hussein. York has dedicated a book to their tastes called Dictator Style.
Dictator style is bling, it's glitz, it's over the top. It's designed to give off messages to their own populations which say, I am great, I am invincible, I could eat you alive.
Not only do dictators control their people, but they spend their money too.
You've got to have stolen a lot of money.
What matters to dictators are things that are very glittery, big, sexuality that's outsized also.
Dr. Keith Ablow is a forensic psychiatrist and a Fox News contributor.
Calculate back in the opposite and say, look, if you need to be that flashy, you might feel quite dull inside.
What are some of the key design principles?
Big, marbly, gold, glassy chandeliers, mirrors, and fake French 18th century furniture. Not real French 18th century furniture.
Which they could afford.
They don't like it because it looks old and it's not quite shiny enough.
The shrine of shine is the Monaco Yacht Show. Recently, Fox Files went there to check out the bling on board. Lots here to keep the world's super rich happily afloat, and plenty that's fit for a dictator, too.
Gold taps in our line of business isn't weird, that's run of the norm. Generally, the interiors are more opulent on the yachts than they are on the owners' houses.
Looking for a spot to park your helicopter or supercar?
We did build a boat once with a full-size squash court, swimming pools up to very substantial sizes.
What about building a huge shark tank aboard a ship?
Aquariums on yachts are not unheard of.
In 2010, one of the sons of the late Libyan dictator, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi, ordered a massive 1,100-foot-long cruise liner worth $700 million, which included a 120-ton shark tank.
The one problem is, if you have an aquarium on a ship, the fish become seasick. So you have to make special provisions.
The offspring of autocrats are notorious for their lavish spending sprees. Teodoro Ngema Obiang Mange, the son of the longest-serving African leader, the president of Equatorial Guinea, owns this $30 million Malibu mansion. Less than half of the population of Equatorial Guinea has access to clean drinking water.
Here is this guy who's the son of the dictator of a tiny country that's suddenly become oil and gas rich. And all that money has gone to his dad and his circle.
For more than 2 years, the U.S. Justice Department has attempted to seize Ngema's oceanfront estate and other assets, claiming Mr. Ngema purchased the items with dirty money. Recently, a judge ruled that the prosecutors lacked probable cause to pursue the foreign offenses against Mr. Ngema, but a Justice Department spokesman told us it still plans to pursue the case. Fox Files repeatedly contacted Mr. Ngema and his attorney for an interview, but did not hear back.
Do we get any clues as to the mindset of a dictator by looking at his home?
You can tell that this is a person who works on a very crude and brutal basis.
How does the brutality relate to a love of luxury items?
Dictators feel inside vulnerable, unworthy. They need everything around them that would suggest that they're the opposite of that they're lovable beyond belief, that they're worthy of incredible wealth. And so they have to surround themselves with constant reminders of how special they are.
Saddam Hussein had about 65 palaces which he moved amongst. Not quite like Buckingham Palace. They look like 1970s American hotels.
And Fox News cameras witnessed it all during the invasion of Iraq.
Nice. Nothing but the best for our boy Saddam.
Chandeliers as big as cars, and very horrible ones too. A really fascinating thing about Saddam Hussein's decoration with these weird sort of sadomasochistic paintings, but they're very kinky indeed.
Fox Files tracked down the artist, Rowena Morrill, at her home in upstate New York. It was news to her that copies of her work ended up in Saddam's Baghdad townhouse.
Once you do a painting, heaven only knows where it's going to end up. He would probably identify with the heroic men, and he would love the sensuous women.
Hard to imagine that amidst all the killing and repressing, Saddam had the time and state of mind to have this replica of the Flintstone village bedrock built for his grandchildren. Adolf Hitler built his own palatial retreat in the Bavarian mountains called the Berghof. It was his place to entertain and unwind with his Nazi friends and his mistress Eva Braun, as seen in these home movies.
It's meant to be a sort of manly German hunting lodgy sort of place. The truth is that the taste on show is very mimsy. Lots of dinky 19th century sets of china, filigree clocks, almost ladylike.
During his 20 years as dictator of the Philippines, Ferdinand Marcos is believed to have stolen billions of dollars. His infamous wife Imelda Marcos, a former beauty queen, is best known for her shoe collection.
How many pairs do we reckon she had?
Football fields worth thousands.
Coming up, was it possible ever to escape from the compound?
We couldn't escape.